Hmm. What's up, guys? DRJ here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the culture of gaming, part 2. So first, before I get into it, I just wanted to apologize because I had originally I had both parts pre-recorded, but I realized through actually midway through the first part, I had promised you guys basically that I was going to listen to your responses, take into account your criticisms, critiques, things like that as always, and couldn't do that if I had the second part already recorded. So here I am today making another one, and as usual, whatever, browsed through the comments and took a look at the things you guys have had to say. So first of all, I love a lot of the responses. Hearing very similar stories about people that have had different interactions with friends. The way they've been treated for being basically good at video games, being kicked out of a friend's house or something like that, or having a friend get upset because you're pooping all over them in a certain video game. Anyway, yeah, obviously I can empathize with that. I think the only thing worse than being really bad, I say it all the time, is being really good. So it was really funny, and it was great to hear you guys' stories. Second thing is, I've had a few people comment on the video, and I've had a lot of people comment in general. As far as the cultural gaming goes, where do women fit into that? And I think that that's way too big of a subject to fit into this particular segment, but it's something that I will definitely be pursuing in the future. I've recently come across actually a female who does play video games, so maybe I can shoot her a few questions, see what her take is on how things have progressed in video games, how women are portrayed, or why women are such a minority. Even according to my own YouTube stats, I think that men, at least by the way they classify themselves on YouTube, make up like 96% of my viewer base. So doesn't seem that women are that interested either in what I'm having to say or video games. I don't know, but I think that, like I said, I don't want to get too off on topic, but video games is a really, really, really big category, and maybe women aren't as common in things like FPSs or RTSs and things like that. Maybe it's something else. So like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I've never known many or any women who really have played video games, even like half-assed. So I don't know. I don't really have a large sample size. You guys feel free to use your comments, but like I said, we'll do that somewhere down the road. I think the big thing that I wanted to focus on with this particular segment, what I want to drive home as far as like my conclusion, the areas that I'm interested in as far as the culture of gaming goes, is basically, I think a lot of you guys have already see where this is going if you've watched anything else. I just want the more critically minded, rational gamers as far as increasing that within the culture of gaming. Looking back as far as I can remember, obviously I had my first start in competitive gaming playing Battlefield, and I remember Battlefield came out and it was so popular, but it got a lot of backlash from the CS community because it wasn't Counter-Strike. And as somebody who grew up playing like a TDM style shooter, I was so enthralled with playing something that was conquest based and brought in all these new elements and was so much more exciting, and I was so disappointed and so upset that so many people I knew were continuing to play CS, and when you asked them why they didn't appreciate something like BF, their thoughts or words never expressed more than it's basically it's not CS. And I think that, like I said, that lack of the critically focused mindset is something that's been going on in gaming for a long time, possibly more prevalent now, and maybe even more important now than ever, especially with global games out there with like World of Warcraft or COD. I don't think that actually World of Warcraft is nearly as big of a offender as far as generalizing or breaking down games, lowering that skill potential so anybody can play as COD is. But still, when you have that mass market like that, the majority are the ones that are going to get their voices heard, and until the majority, or at least a significant minority, are voicing very consistent critically minded complaints or criticisms of video games, it's going to be really difficult to expect anything different to happen in the future than what's been happening over the last, say, 5 years. You know, I don't think it doesn't really matter whether you're talking about, you know, the stuff that's been going on in COD, or whether it's, you know, people in World of Warcraft railing against, you know, the idea of this ladder of progression that's been going on in there, which probably I'll be doing a video on in the future. Or like I said, whether it's, you know, people even looking at something like Skyrim and just giving it this unabashedly perfect praise, 10 out of 10, across the boards, can't get any better, etc., etc. Like I said, these kinds of concepts, these kinds of ideas, as far as I can tell in my own experience, have been happening since day one, since I was playing competitive games, you know, 10, 12, 15 years ago. And like I said, they are more important than ever today, because so many more people are playing video games, and the video games, like I said, are starting to specifically target certain markets, and the way that they're targeting those markets is, like I said, you know, more or less breaking down those games so that the masses can enjoy them, making, you know, like I said, the way that they, you know, like I said, pulling down that skill potential, like I've talked about a million times before. You know, in conclusion with this, you know, it's a lot of, I don't want to say it's common sense stuff, but like, you know, we're the buyers, we have all the power, you know, vote with our wallets and things like that. But I think that you know, that's kind of tough sometimes, because your choices, like if you don't want to play something like COD, or if you don't want to play WoW, like I said, WoW is a bit of a different example, but I mean, what are your other choices, really? I mean, there's really not a lot out there. As grievous as an offender as COD is, your next best choice is that much worse. So I think it's so much more important, like I said, to be critically minded and give devs criticism, especially with the way that, you know, we have with, you know, basically social media. You know, like I put out an article or a video, and you guys link it on Twitter or something like that, and send Robert Bowling 4,000 tweets that he should take a look at this. You know, like, we have a realistic possibility of making ourselves heard, and I think that we have a more realistic possibility of making a change happen by making our voices heard, as opposed to trying to convince, you know, a billion people to, like, you know, quote unquote, vote with their wallets and not buy that game. I think it has a greater impact if we can get 30,000 people that are agreeing insofar as what the general issues are with COD and the way they would like them to push in the future. So in general, like I said, just critically minded, rational. You know, it's not just what you say; it's why you're saying it. You know, why is it you think what you're thinking, and as it applies to video games. And hopefully, like with this channel, I can try to focus some of those thoughts and get those out there. And like I said, the idea is that we get better video games in the future, and that is what I would like to change as far as video game culture. So, as always, comments, criticisms, critiques, let me know what you guys think.